Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today we're doing the signs of the reading for the earth signs for Sun, Moon and Rising for February. The decks I'll be using today are my favourites, and I've kept them for a while. The box is kind of damaged and a bit rough and ready, but it's my favourite deck. So I really like the reader, Radley Valentine. He's got an Angel Institute that he puts up and does weather reports. So this is for the 8th of February. Today's my birthday. And it's a Wednesday, and we've just gone past the full moon. So we're doing Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and illustrations by Howard David Johnson. The other one we're doing is the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Selena Fennick. And then we've got the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. So those are the decks we're reading today. The first card I pulled, and it was one that really resonates with me today, is the Ten of Wands. Now the Ten of Wands speaks about someone who's burdened or burnt out from trying to help out everyone or put out 10 people's problems, and then you don't look after your own self. So it's very important to do self-care. I was supposed to go to a training today and it didn't happen because I vomited and I was very unwell. And I don't know if it's stress related. I'm guessing it is because I was at a doctor's appointment with a doctor yesterday that we have issues. We don't agree on things. So, I'm trying to be thorough and get to the root of my health problems, but he just seems to blow me off like I'm an idiot. And, I do look into, I've studied natural therapies, and he says, it's not scientifically based, but it kind of is when it comes to things like melatonin. So I'll just go elsewhere and get what I need from someone else because I'm not happy with it. And he's very thorough but doesn't believe in natural therapies. I prefer a compounding friendly doctor. So I'm going to look into that. I've been really unwell since December. I was doing a course and I didn't realise the emotional toll it took on me, all the stress levels that were so high. I didn't realise I wasn't processing them as well as what I thought I was, and it put a lot of stress on me to have to talk about my emotions because I've got a lot of them. Us children with ADHD have huge emotions and it's sometimes really hard to express them. So I do this YouTube channel to express some of my emotions. It's not aimed at anybody, it's just how I feel, and I'm trying to work with verbalizing them. I have a slight bit of autism, I think, somewhere, and that makes it hard to speak out how you feel. And you can get quite angry because you can't express yourself. And then when you do express yourself, it comes out, in anger because you're trying to express yourself and you're frustrated. And if someone's not getting it, it just kind of is frustrating. And you can't speak up because you're frightened to speak up because you might be in a work environment and you're just upset with something. You can't verbalize it, and that's difficult. I've done that my whole life. So I was doing this course to learn how to communicate better. Sometimes it doesn't always work because the emotions come out and take over, and you say things you don't mean because you're angry or you're tired or you're sick or you're not well, and you've just got to give yourself a little break because you are human. So I speak to Lifeline quite a bit. I'm on my own today. I was meant to see my 2 boys, but I'm not well enough to do that, and I was meant to see a friend today and I couldn't do that, and I felt really bad. I had to disappoint people, but sometimes you need to put your own health first and then stop someone else being sick as well. That was my go-to for that. So I had a channel message going back about 2-3 years, maybe 4 years ago. It was before COVID, 2018 may have been. And I kept hearing the song, whenever you're away from me, wherever you go, Olivia Newton-John. And I kept singing it. I couldn't understand why I wanted to keep watching Xanadu, and I kept playing this song and singing it to my son whenever he'd leave for school, and I was unwell. I couldn't work at the time, and it's a long story, but I used to sing it to him when he used to come home or whenever he was leaving for school, and just brought back memories of that time when I was unwell. But the best part about it was I used to sing to him. I've always sang to him since he was little. I love music too, and he loves music to this day. He's got an extensive taste, both of them do. A lot of it's not my stuff, it's their stuff from their own father, who's really loves music too. But it's just interesting how I had that song and then I was kind of like wondering why I kept thinking about Olivia and kept scrolling through a lot of news feeds and adding her to my Facebook page. And I realised it was because I was picking up on her energy that she was leaving the building. She was actually on her way out. And that big light that she was amazing. She was an amazing person and singer and mother and wife. And I cried. I was living somewhere and I was in a shelter at the time. I was homeless and I just cried when I heard that she died. She was one of my favourite singers. So it says here you've got the 10 of Wands. So the last 10 days, your problems have been sprung back. You probably had since spring. So these issues and health issues have gone back to spring, which is when I had mine. And it says you're working too hard. Do what you can do to avoid stress in your life. It affects your physical and emotional health. Do take some breaks. Reassign tasks to competent co-workers or family members and remove anything from your schedule that is not necessary and reclaim that time as far as your own self-care. Health problems from too much pressure on yourself, and you might be something of a perfectionist. If you're anything like me, I place a lot of pressure on myself to perform, and yes, stress will get you there, but then you get the fallout later is the health issues later on. So I've been stressing my whole life. I'm a stress head, and that's my blood pressure problem. So I have to learn to be less stressed. Now I've got a time out today. Today was meant to be a new course I was meant to do and then celebrate birthday, but I just wasn't well enough. So my body went no. So I have to just listen to that. You have to kind of listen to it. If you're busy caring for others and you forget yourself, you can get really run down. The next card I pulled was the 8 of Swords. Now this is a platform. You may be on a social media platform, but it can also talk about you not wanting to jump from this little iceberg right across there. It's just one little like a step and a jump, but it seems unable. She feels like she's trapped. She can't make that tiny leap across the pond. So it's crossing you. So in 8 weeks, you may feel like your situation, your ego is convincing you are without power. You have what it takes to move out of your situation. You don't like resolve, and determination will give you the life you desire. Changes need commitment. Make the choice to actively improve your health or ways of dealing with stress. Create a mental health plan. It's an illusion of being trapped when you're not. You know, you may have trapped your own self in your mind. You may have fear-based stress, and when you fear something then, or fear really bad results from a test like I was, it can come out in different ways. So stress makes a major difference on health. We have to be aware of it. In the past, you've got the High Priestess. Now this card is talking about meditating, transferring, trusting your intuition, and careful reflection before action. Thoughts that come from meditation. Meditation can come in many forms. You could read a book, you could be drawing, you could be reading, you could be watching stuff like movies and things like that, and that's the way they calm you down before they take your blood pressure. So it's shown to drastically reduce your blood pressure if you find ways to de-stress. In the past, you may have had a lot of nighttime activity, enlightenment and downloads from spirit, keeping your strategies for yourself. You are assured in the past. I live where there's lots of bird life. It's kind of like the land that time forgot. There's always lots of birds out where I live. We're near a wetlands, which is kind of a nice spot too. I always see lots of bird life, which is really pretty when you go for walks. So it says here, it's helped you to ruminate and relax and meditate on your next move. A place of stillness, a place of zen, where you can get well and have that mental break from a hectic environment. Maybe you were hospitalized in the past, or you had to go on a detox place, and you needed that break from society, that hectic environment. Spirit and energy is loud right now, and everyone has affected your aura or your ability to empathically read a room, because you are so overwhelmed by all that toxic or in pain energy that is around you. And during COVID, I found I didn't want to leave the house because I couldn't, A, and B, because I was so open to everything. I was feeling and sensing everything everywhere. And so it's today I get anxiety. It's still like that even in shopping centres. I find it really hard to go into a shopping centre. I've done it. I used to work in shopping centres, but now that I've had this near-death experience, and now I'm a different person, I've come back different, I'm extremely sensitive to energy. I could always read a room, I could always sense things, but I couldn't stand the noise because I was trying to zero in on people's emotions and try and figure out who was going to be the bad person, who was going to try and sabotage me with my sales figures and things like that. So I was always reading a room, and that's kind of stressful, as well as all the noise and trying to also listen to your customer and do the right thing, because I'm a beauty therapist by trade. So I was trying to relax the customer and relax myself at the same time, and also read the room. But that was really hard. I think it requires a certain set of skills, because beauty therapy literally is, minus the beauty, therapy as well. People come to talk about their emotions because they're having a bad day. You're like someone who can, I guess, chill them out, and when they're talking about their issues, and you're listening, you're trying to counsel them. So in a way, you're kind of counseling them. I did have some training on it because I was going through counseling, so I kind of knew how to put things and reword things and just see how my client was doing. So I miss the clients I used to have, because you do form really close friendships because you're vulnerable when you're laying on that bed. So it says here, so back then you had to go to a place of zen and stillness. I used to walk through, it was called the Long Bloody Walk back when it was lockdown, and everyone was out walking. I found that was my happy place. I could just walk and walk, or go to the library when they finally started opening the doors. But it was just a nice place to walk and hear the birds and watch the water, and anything with water I love. Then we have the recent past, and it is the Seven of Wands. This is like fighting for your rights, standing up for yourself. It's picketing, and maybe you were picketing back when we had the COVID in Sydney. They had all the picketers in the street to end lockdown. It says never ever stop doing that, because that's who you are. You've got a fighting spirit. And that might have been back in spring, September, October, November. You may have had to stand up for yourself in a medical thing, in a medical diagnosis, and you want to get to the root of the problem. Taking a stand, standing up for yourself, defending your position, and knowing you're right. Have the courage through adversity. Gym classes, self-defense classes. Don't allow other people to talk you out of your belief system, and trust solely on others' opinions. Your thoughts and feelings about what you do and the right thing to do is spot on, and you have your finger on the pulse, so don't back down. Pay close attention to what's going on around you. Be aware of a sleight of hand. People try to distract you so they can steal from you, and attend rallies and protest marches. And I find too, when you're distracted and you're stressed, you will forget your wallet, you will forget your keys, your phone, whatever it is, because you're trying to do a million things, and your head's racing up front, trying to see future stuff, future events. When I was doing one lady's massage, I picked up that she'd had a prior injury on C7, cervical C7 on her spine. And she said, yes, she had. I said, was it whiplash in a car? And she said, yes. She said, how the hell did you know that? I never spoke about it I don't speak about it to anyone, because I could sense that she was not telling me something as I went to massage her. And you're meant to sign a form to say you haven't had an accident in the last 5 years, so I can't push or massage that area because it could cause more damage and you could be liable. And I knew she was lying about it, and I thought, there's something here. I just could sense that something was not right with her body. And that's what I do. I kind of do like a Reiki. I sense areas of the body that is unwell or has issues, and so I try to heal it with massage. But if it's already had a past injury, you could rupture it and make it worse. So it's very important you ask those questions. You have like a figure drawn with their limbs, and you've got to tell them to fill in which parts have had a break in the past or a fracture, and to avoid that area. So that's what it says about that. It's also got here that you are good at standing up for yourself and standing up for others. I think you might advocate for truth. You may be like into social justices. You may like to stand up for the underdog, and that's kind of why I was very interested in law. I always loved standing up for the underdog, and I was looking at studying it. I did study it during COVID, just the introduction level. It was through Open Foundations. I'm looking at either going back to that or doing dermatology. I know that's a huge course matter, so I have to really think about it, do some research, because it's over 7 years, like beauty therapy was. Two of Pentacles, crowning you. You are capable of juggling or multitasking many things. That's your superpower. It's saying in 2 years' time, you are juggling a job and also juggling a course that you may be doing, and your ability to remain in the present, because we are stressing about future events by scrolling through Facebook, talking to a friend, watching a movie. That is stressful, not restful. I was relearning about a refresher course on the circulatory system of the heart. It was talking about resting heart rate, and when the heart pumps the blood up the artery and then oxygenates into the vein, and then the whole cycle repeats. And it talks about when it's resting, that's the resting blood pressure. It should be below 140, otherwise it's called hypertension. And I've had to research this because I've got a problem with blood pressure. So it's interesting. We don't rest enough because the fast-paced lifestyle that we're used to, and that we're all on steroids for. Well, it's like we're on steroids. We don't have time to just to wind down. That's why spa days are so important. Having a facial or a massage, or having a long hot shower, or winding down watching a movie. But focusing on one thing at a time, even though you can multitask, you're really good at it, but sometimes you need to stop trying to focus on the future and stay in the present. It's like being a reader who's doing a reading but accidentally channels messages for that 1% of people watching that channel. You empathically channel messages for that 1 minute, one minute person on the wild web, that ocean of people tuning in. Seek out fun ways in every moment. Law of attraction sees more playful energy attracts more fun. Find the humour of your situation, and concerns and stresses fall away. Juggling several jobs or a study work episode. Justice, fail, earth, future. This is future. So it's saying you may actually look into doing social justice work, or in the law, maybe do volunteer work in a courtroom legal situation. They sometimes have legal aid people there on the day of a court case, and they walk around and check in and see how you are, and you can ask them questions about how things will go, and all different sorts of questions you can ask them. They're usually in every courtroom. So it's becoming clearer on your goals, an advocate for the truth, fair and objective judgments, and making well thought out decisions. Review all documents before signing the fine print. Stick to your principles. Trust that your opinions are correct, and time will make that evident to everyone. Remember to be impartial and objective when deciding on making choices for other people. Compassion on one side of the blade and objectivity on the other. Situations will turn out in your favour. Your side will be clearly seen. I find if you're just transparent with people, you're open and honest, that is the best way to communicate. You might be scared to be vulnerable, but if you're open and honest, instead of going, you're hiding something, or you're leaving something off the register when you're in a courtroom, the best way to get around that would be to sort of say, I feel this when this person does this to me. Instead of putting up with someone having a go at you, and then you get worked up, and finally you explode and say all the wrong things, and the communication's wrong. You should sort of pull them up on that day and go, I don't think that was fair, or I don't like how you're talking to me at the moment. Something like that, where you're putting a boundary in place. So saying that, review all your documents, stick to your principles, and your side will be clearly seen. You have the Queen of Swords. You may be acting like a Queen of Swords right now, which is being a water sign. That's unusual. You may have air in your chart. You may have Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini heavily in your chart. You might be trined in it. I have an Aquarian, a Libra, Gemini, trine. And so my two boys have Gemini and Aquarius in their chart, which is similar, which is interesting. And that's why we all get along, because we've got that playful side to us. That Gemini is a playful sign. You may be single and a wise friend. You may sense energy in rooms, so you change the room around often. My blood relative used to change the rooms and furniture around once a month, according to which way the wind blew. But it's like a feng shui exercise. It actually moves the energy around in a room. It moves the negatives out and the positives in. And according to which way that was, having amazing patience and you're very funny. You may have experience in diverse cultures. You often put people in their place without anyone realising it, with a few well-chosen words. So you don't need to be passive-aggressive. You just have to be well thought out words. Ace of Cups. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that card with the dove. It's peace. And the lotus flower. Your power or lack of this month, this summer, this last month of summer, is that a new and rewarding relationship is coming into view and joyful, a new person who enters your life, or a new phase of intimacy in a current one. You may have to open your heart to love. Maybe you meet and receive a gesture. I was channeling a box of flowers, red and white. I'm seeing in a gold box your favourite flowers, the red and white roses. Possibly it's around Valentine's Day. A sign someone has a crush on you or likes you. Believe in your self-worth and ability to be loved. On outpouring of an affection and awakening of new psychic powers and abilities or spiritual epiphanies. And on that note, I had a message from Mr. Richard Marks. I've liked his music for such a long time, and I've liked his page whenever I used to play it when I was really sad. And Right Here Waiting for You is one of my favourite songs. And I'll Be Your Man. That's another one where he's got his father in that. I channeled his father actually from that song one night and came through really strong. And I always think he's just really good with his boys. He's got 3 boys and he's got his new wife, Daisy Fuentes. And I said, look, it was such a thrill and an honour to first witness him when I was 14. And he came to Australia and he played at Civic Theatre and he sang Blue Suede Shoes, and I thought that was incredible. He just sang with his voice. It was no background, it was just his voice and maybe lead guitarist like playing the beat. And he sang to the stage and I was just in awe of him, and it was the best experience. And he's going to be touring, I think, soon. I asked him to come and tour here. I just said how that changed my life. It was in a time when I had quite a lot of trouble and turmoil, and he was on the stage and he was brilliant. And he's one of the best performers I've seen. I know he's friends with Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, but I think they're just marvellous together. So we've got a sudden business travel, Arrows of Love. This is my Arrows of Love card. And that other one will relate to the Ace of Cups. It talks about an outpouring of affection and awakening of new psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. Everyone has them. You just don't tap in. You just don't realise that they're there. So this is the Arrows of Love. And you're juggling 8 things maybe. Sudden events, change, spring in America, 8 days time, or the spring. So it could be the new month coming up, which would be March. This is effects of people around you. An arrival to a place to visit or surprise visit. A Virgo or someone with Virgo heavily placed in their chart is younger than you or just young at heart, but don't be mistaken for thinking they are not methodical, as they pay attention to detail, are often perfectionists and generally already hard on themselves, so that they have drive. They are critical of themselves without you criticising them. Their mind works differently. They may have a clairaudient superpower, an ability to hear a song or a tune in their head and write the song to it. They could be musically gifted, naturally slow-moving person. They do not make hard decisions lightly. They're well planned from A to Z and multiple backup plans. Hermit. The Hermit card is to do, again, with the Virgo card. And it talks about being taking a well-deserved break from society, searching for enlightenment. You are never alone when you're surrounded by God, angels and spirits of the earth who want to help you. Ask for assistance at any time and they will illuminate your path to peace and happiness. It's important to always shine your light so that other people can follow what made it successful for you. Be that beacon of inspiration for them and emulate the kind of person you admire so that others may learn from you as well. You may begin teaching, you may be a spiritual teacher or an online platform, as in what I'm doing now. And I learn a lot from people like Bradley Valentine, Mitchell Coombs. They've got their finger on the pulse. They were the ones that are the pioneers. So with this reading, I've also pulled some clarification cards. I use crystals to amplify certain cards, but right now I've got just the rose quartz I would do. That's for love. And I would do for stress, which is what we're talking about here, the amethyst. crystal. It's good for stress. And the Virgo card, which is Earth's side, so you need to maybe eat root vegetables like carrots and potatoes to ground your energy if you're up in the clouds like me. Air signs, that's usually to do with metal objects, like the metal jewelry. Silver jewelry is good for air signs. But a grounding energy would probably be like tiger's eye, I would say. That's tiger's eye. And to open it the third eye if you need to get more clarification into something. So we have the 3. This is Between the Worlds. This is by Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. And we have Enchanting Gifts, 27, by Colette Baron Reid. So the first card's 3. It's the flamingo. I always think about a friend of mine. She has a palm tree and a flamingo that she used to blow up around her big parties. It was so much fun. She's a lot of fun in her house. So when I had a really big night one night with her, I passed out. I had too much to drink and I fell asleep under the light of the pink flamingo and the little palm tree. Transition is not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another. Between the worlds is where you must go. Let go of the tendency to make assumptions that this is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A power and a mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child, glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so and you will not be disappointed. This is a time to explore the new energy between you and another. It is not a moment for certainty, but rather for discovery and curiosity. You don't yet know if this will last forever, so allow yourself to explore what you are, who you are, and what is reflected back to you. This relationship is meant to educate you about yourself. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important to you? You are in a critical phase of your relationship. It is not to be dismissed or hurried. So take your time with this relationship. People tend to rush in and then it's like love bombing and it doesn't work out because you haven't gotten to know them properly. The law of giving and receiving, currency trade-offs, weighing costs and determining value. You're entering into a productive, enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. They have everything you need to seize them. In order to honour them, you must put in time, exchange your experience and skills, and commit heart and soul to what you've been choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not a time of just do. Use your currency wisely. Your currency is your agency, your value, and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. So it's saying about love, about exchange of give and take. When it's reciprocated, you must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled, yet love in and let it flow out of you. Love is truly yours today. That's really nice. So all your hard work and efforts, your commitment to learning, crafting, creating and spending your time wisely pays off in ways you may not have even been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe, which is sending you signs and signals, aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success and more. Everything is an exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. Good will come back tenfold. And then we have her special place, which is number 16. Find your own safe space, inside and out. Her special place can be a need for solitude and quiet, a break from busyness, strife and stress. Find the way in which you can respond from healing and love and give those things to yourself. Take a break from hearing about disasters and create an oasis where you can come and enter and only at your invitation. This card can signal a need for haven, a sanctuary where you can commune with your own emotions and have some time out that will refresh and restore you when you re-enter the world. There's a time of introversion, not of sadness, but of turning towards the oasis, sanctuary, and the peace that exists within. We are all born with this place within us. It is simply that we forget to lose our connection with it. Drawing this card could signify that it is time to put energy into creating your own special place, a room or a home or a space to work where you feel safe, creative, and without judgment. This card can also signify that you are healing from health and emotional issues. So stress-related issues can also be emotional issues that you haven't dealt with, that you're feeling overwhelmed and your body is not coping with it. And then the hormone cortisol enters the bloodstream and then causes all sorts of problems with blood pressure as well. Melatonin is apparently good for sleep and to relax the adrenals. That's what I got told by a naturopath. Drawing this card could signify that it's time to put energy into creating this world for you. And you've worked hard on this. You have to love and respect by yourself firstly and by others. The beautiful fairy's appearance could also signify a remission in health issues. Renewal and healing may be simple as finding a quiet place near a still body of water and doing what you love. Alternatively, be sure to allow that as within, so without greed. Create peace inside, and that external peaceful place must manifest. So I'm doing a more vegan vegetarian diet, and a lot of Virgos are vegetarian or vegan because they're meticulous about their diet, because diet's everything. What is inside your stomach, your second brain, affects everything. It's digestion that causes the issues in our bodies. So through meditation and the nurturing of your inner sanctuary, the external one shall appear. Get your diet right first, your sleep right second, and everything will follow suit. And make sure you keep doing things you love. Drawing, reading, writing, poetry. And we had a pest inspector the other day, but it looks like they haven't done all of it. You might have to come back. So that's what it's saying there. And the awful things. I think summer weather brings them out. It's nothing you can really do. It's just they come out around summer. So yeah, inner sanctuary work is very important. Working on your inner child. You may be dealing with inner child issues, that wounded inner child issues that you still have to work on. Once was innocent. Knowledge means change. So yeah, research what you can do to help with stress. Nutritional supplements, which is what I'm looking into through places that are like have a nutritionist and a doctor and a psychologist, and they're like in the one hub. You can do that, and then you can probably either bulk bill or you can get them all to work together to do your mental health plan and marry all those things up. And it pays to do it every 6 months to a year, because I've been sick again like since 2019 when I was really sick with an infection in my tooth. I had a broken tooth,